some fucking lineups. Brought to you by the new Faro's Lounge Kickstarter. There's 31 away from my goal. My true goal. Yeah. Took care of that. All right, go away. Okay, here we go. Eagles, Commanders, top 6 cards in the deck. Hurts, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, DeAndre Swift. Jesus, 4 Eagles right there. Sam Howell, Scary Terry McLaurin, and a deficit of $50,000. Shut up! Just play. You don't need to balk. She knows you're here. We all know you're here. I know you're here. You're hard to miss. All right. Eagles, Commanders. Let's make some goddamn fucking lineups. Jalen Hurts wasn't listed on the Eagles' first Week 8 injury report. Hurts played through a key left knee injury. Played through a left knee injury this past Sunday against the Dolphins, completing 23 of 31 passes for 279 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception, rushing 11 times for 21 yards and 1 more score and losing his only fumble. While he hasn't missed an offensive snap through 7 games, he's already committed more turnovers than he did all of last season. With his health intact ahead of Sunday's contest, Hurts now will set his sights on a Commanders defense that allowed him to pass for 319 yards and 2 scores back in Week 4. Which makes the Commanders defense incredibly contrarian. Commanders defense is on the board. They did play pretty damn good against those Dolphins, didn't they? A.J. Brown hauled in 10 receptions on 15 targets for 137 yards and a touchdown in Sunday's win over the Dolphins. Brown and the Eagles came out victorious in a primetime battle between conference contenders that featured 2 of the league's top wideouts Sunday. The 26-year-old bested Tyreek Hill's 1188-1 receiving line for the Dolphins as both superstars led their respective teams with 15 targets apiece. Brown has now recorded at least 125 receiving yards in 5 consecutive games, tying an unofficial league record shared by Calvin Johnson and Pat Studstill. Brown will look to become the sole holder of that honor if he can produce another monster receiving line against the Commanders next Sunday. Well, goddamn. Devontae Smith finished with 4 receptions on 5 targets for 49 yards in Sunday's win over the Dolphins. Fellow starter A.J. Brown kept his monster season going with another 100-yard receiving game Sunday that dwarfed Smith's results. Not that the 2 teammates are competing with each other, but it has become apparent who the true number 1 option in Philly is, after both players cleared 1,000 receiving yards in 2022. Smith's current 32-383-2 line through 7 games projects into numbers worse than he recorded in his rookie season. The Alabama standout would benefit from a big performance again Washington next Sunday, or he may find himself falling to 3rd on Jalen Hurts' mental depth chart with tight end Dallas Goedert's role on the rise once again. That's 1 for Brown. A.J. Brown is on the board. Jalen Hurts is on the board. Dallas Goedert is on the board. DeAndre Swift had 15 carries for 62 yards and caught all 3 targets for 13 yards in Sunday's win over Miami. Swift posted a more traditional running back stat line Sunday after seeing most of his fantasy production come as a receiver against the Jets in Week 6. The 24-year-old did have a touchdown opportunity vultured by backup Kenny Gainwell late in the contest that may have frustrated fantasy managers. Yeah, yours fucking truly. Swift was able to earn back some of those potential points when he vultured 2 garbage time carries from Gainwell on Philly's ensuing drive, netting 19 additional yards despite the game being well in hand. Swift will continue serving his fruitful fantasy role as the lead back for a top offense when the Eagles face the Commanders next Sunday. Kenny Gainwell is on the board. Sad Sam Howell. Coach Ron Rivera said Monday He's committed to Hal as the Commander's starter, but left the door open for a change at some point. After starting the season 2-0 with wins over the Cardinals and Broncos, the Commanders have dropped 4 of their last 5, and Howell is on pace to absorb a record-breaking 97 sacks. The current record is 76, taken by David Carr in his rookie season of 2002 with the Texans. Howell is simply holding onto the ball too long and led the Commanders to just 7 points in Sunday's 7-point loss to the Giants and backup Tyrod Taylor. If the losses keep piling up and Howell doesn't show improvement, Washington could turn to veteran Jacoby Brissett to stabilize the offense. Ay. Poor Sam. Scary Terry McLaurin caught 6 of 9 targets for 90 yards in Sunday's loss to the Giants. With Sam Howell under near constant pressure early in the game, the Washington passing game had trouble getting anything going. But McLaurin was the young quarterback's top option in the second half, as the team tried to mount a comeback. The yardage total was the highest of the season for McLaurin, but he hasn't gotten into the end zone since week 2, limiting his fantasy ceiling despite his prominent role. The fifth-year wideout will look to end his touchdown drought in week 8 against an Eagles secondary that's given up 8 touchdowns to wide receivers through its first 6 games. So Sam Howell is on the board. And the Eagles D is on the board. And that takes care of the top 6 cards in the deck, down to the bottom. Do we need to click any of these fuckers? Right? Didn't both these teams play? The Eagles played the Dolphins. And like, this is old news, so where's it from? The 22nd. That's a week later. Okay, so nothing has come up on any of these fucking guys. It ain't coming up now. Covey, Rogers, Dillon, Tinsley, Milne, Ward, Armagh, Gore. Fuck these guys. Allen, the god of Tremaine, Stoll. I mean, is Jack fucking Stoll even worth a lineup spot at this point? No. It's the Jets. Fuck your mother. Jamison Crowder can fuck off too. Byron Pringle. Pringle caught his lone target for 16 yards in Sunday's loss to the Giants. Pringle ran only 3 routes, 5th most among Washington's wide receivers. He could perhaps get a little more playing time in the future if the team grows frustrated with Jahan Dotson. But for now, the Commanders seem more inclined to let their 2022 first-round pick work through his struggles. Pringle isn't likely to see more than a target at 2, week 8 against Philadelphia. Dotson is on the board. Jahan Dotson. Boston Scott, nothing on Boston Scott, right? This is the Jets still. News about the Jets. Fuck his mother. All right, Quez Watkins, nothing on him. Is he back? He's not back. That's all fucking news. Fuck your mother. John Bates, he's garbage, right? Bates is garbage. Are we ready to call him garbage? With the fucking Falcons, nothing to say about him. Cole Turner's also garbage. Have we fucking reserved ourselves to that? The man's done nothing. Olamide Zacchaeus had that one good fucking game, hasn't done shit since. Fuck his mother. De'Ami Brown, another one. Ain't done shit. All these guys, they're not getting in my fucking lineups. None of them. They cannot do it. We only got 20. No fucking dart throws in your crock asses. Rashad Penny is inactive for Sunday's contest with the... See, again, old fucking news. Fuck him. Fuck him. You didn't play. I cannot fucking talk to you. Christian Rodriguez Jr. carried the ball 7 times for 31 yards in Sunday's loss to the Giants. The Commanders' offense was stagnant for most of the day, so the rookie running back got a chance to add a spark in the second half. Rodriguez wound up leading the team in rushing, but his longest gain went for only 9 yards. Despite his modest success, his spot on the depth chart behind Robinson and Gibson doesn't appear likely to change in Week 8 against the tough Eagles run defense. That's 2 for the Eagles D. Antonio Gibson is on the board. Brian Robinson Jr. is on the board. What are you doing over there? You all right? All right, good. I just want to make sure you're okay. Just making sure you're okay, sweetheart. Julio Jones reverted to the Eagles practice squad Monday. Wow. In terms of offensive snaps, Jones was a distant third behind Devontae Smith A.J. Brown and Olamide Zaccheaus in his debut with the Eagles during Sunday's win against the Dolphins. Jones also caught his only target for 3 yards. It's unclear how much Jones is left to give at 34 years old, but he did combine for a 55-7-3-3 line on 90 targets in 20 games between the Titans and Buccaneers. Last 2 years. Devontae Smith is on the board. That's 2 for A.J. Brown, and Olamide Zaccheaus makes his way into the lineup because he gets a mention. What do you fucking know, huh? He did make a winning lineup. Antonio Gibson, 2 carries for 7 yards and 2 catches for 24 yards in Sunday's loss to the Giants. Gibson remains the top choice in obvious passing situations, but seems to be behind both Brian Robinson and Chris Rodriguez for carries. Rodriguez took a season-high 7 carries for 31 yards Sunday, with Robinson getting 8 totes for 23 yards and a touchdown. It's been one of the least productive backfields in the league on a cumulative basis, with little hope for mainstream value from anyone if all 3 are sharing work heading into an Week 8 game against Philadelphia. So that's 2 for Robinson. Chris Rodriguez is on the board. The Commanders' D. Kenny Gainwell rushed 8 times for 16 yards and a touchdown in Sunday's win over the Dolphins. DeAndre Swift did the heavy lifting for Philadelphia on the ground, but it was Gainwell who cashed in a short touchdown with the Eagles' final scoring drive. It was the backup's first trip to the end zone in 6 games this season. The curious coaching decision to start Gainwell over Swift back in Week 1 is looking more like an anomaly with each passing week, leaving the backup with only deep league fantasy appeal heading into Sunday's matchup against the Commanders. DeAndre Swift is on the board. It's getting dark. I gotta turn the lights on. After this report, Joey Sly failed to convert his only field goal attempt, but made his lone extra point try in Sunday's loss at the Giants. On a day where Washington struggled to get much of anything going offensively, Sly was only called out for 1 field goal try. Leonard Williams rose up to block the 27-yarder early in the 4th quarter to maintain the Giants' touchdown advantage. The Commanders figured to be heavy underdogs in Week 8 versus Philadelphia, capping fantasy expectations for Sly in that contest. Logan Thomas caught 4 of 6 targets for 51 yards in Sunday's loss to the Giants. The tight end produced his second highest yardage total of the season on a day when Sam Howell was once again facing near constant pressure. Thomas has been able to stay mostly healthy so far in 2023, missing only 1 game, and as a result, he's on pace for his best season since his breakout 2020 campaign. That's 2 for Howell. Right, bring it up this way. All right. Jake Elliott made his only field goal attempt in all 4 of his extra point tries in Sunday's win over the Dolphins. Elliott converted from 24 yards on his lone field goal. Through 7 games, he scored 68 points, currently leading all kickers in scoring. Curtis Samuel, listed as questionable for Sunday's game against the Eagles. Samuel appears to be on track to play, having missed just 1 practice this week before returning to the field Thursday as a limited participant. If he were to end up inactive ahead of Sunday's kickoff, the Commanders likely return to Dyami Brown as their number 3 receiver, which might also mean more slot snaps for Terry McLaurin and Jahan Dotson. So Brown stays relevant by getting into the mix. Dyami Brown. 1 Terry McLaurin is on the board. And that's 2 for Jahan Dotson. What are you chewing on, sweetie? Good girl. Chewing on that rub. Jahan Dotson caught 5 of 8 targets for 43 yards in a 14-7 loss to the Giants on Sunday. It was a better than his 1 target, 0 catch outing this week before and technically represents a season high for yardage. But Dotson still hasn't reached 50 yards in a game this season or has done much of anything to help fantasy managers. He ran a team-high 42 routes, suggesting his starting job is still safe. But the big plays from last year have completely dried up. Dotson gets a home game against the Eagles in Week 8, facing veteran cornerbacks Darius Slay and James Bradbury. That is 3 for the Eagles defense. Brissett, nothing. Jake Fromm. Tanner McKee, inactive. We don't give a shit. Mariota. Brian Robinson Jr. carried the ball 8 times for 23 yards and a touchdown in Sunday's loss to the Giants. He failed to catch his only target. Robinson accounted for the Commanders' only points on the afternoon with a 4-yard touchdown plunge in the fourth quarter. But his longest run went for only 6 yards, and he was surprisingly outgained by rookie Christian Rodriguez. Robinson's spot at the top of the depth chart may not only be in immediate danger, but he's been held below 50 rushing yards in 4 straight contests and is averaging below 4 yards per carry for the second straight campaign. Washington's entire running game will face a tough test in Week 8 against the Eagles. Eagles D, it's all the way up there. Dallas Goedert put on all 5 of his targets for 77 yards and a touchdown in Sunday's win over the Dolphins. An undermanned Dolphins defense had its hands full trying to contain Jalen Hurts and the Eagles' talented group of wideouts, creating plenty of mismatches for Goedert to take advantage of going into the middle Sunday. The 28-year-old was limited by a groin injury during the practice week, but the tight end's play was clearly ineffective as he barreled into the end zone for his second touchdown in 3 weeks. Goedert's recent hot streak has helped erase a rough start to the season, bringing his receiving line up to 31, 324, 2 heading into a division matchup against the Commanders on Sunday. That is 2 for Hurts. 2 for Jalen Hurts. Well, all right then. What do we got here? Failure to communicate. All right. Let's get to Philly and Washington. Oop. All right. Optimal projection mode. 20 lineups. No 4 stacks. And let's do some damage here. Let's start with Philly. A.J. Brown, 2 points. Jalen Hurts, let's bring him up 2 points. Ugh. These sensitive mouses. Dallas Goedert will bump him up a point. Kenny Gainwell. Kenny Gainwell, the Eagles defense. Let's bump them up 3 points. Devontae Smith. Let's bump him up 1. Olamide Zaccheaus, the man stays relevant by getting bumped up 1 point. And DeAndre Swift. Let's give him a little 1-point bump. It's like giving them likes. All right, over to the Commanders side. The Commanders defense gets a 1-point bump. Sad Sam Howell gets a 2-point bump. Jahan Dotson. Where's he hiding? There he is. Dotson gets a 2-point bump. Gibson. Antonio Andolini. Robinson, 2-point bump. Christian Rodriguez. 1 point bump. Yami Brown gets a 1 point bump. And finally, Scary Terry. What the hell are you doing over there? Okay, just making sure. All right. Minimum one exposure, maximum 99. Just to get that moving. Let's get to some captains. Who will not be making the captain's quote? No Stoll, Pringle, Scott, Bates, Turner, Kias, no. Brown, Rodriguez, no. Gibson, no. Commanders, no. Gingwell, no. Sly, no. Logan Thomas, possible captain? Can he go off in this fucking game? One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Fuck it. I'll take a chance on Logan Thomas. Yeah, one good fucking game. Each person gets at least one captain lineup, the way I'd always do it. Just using a little help with the side tracks here. Let's look at the flex. Let's see, it's eliminating anybody not interesting. We know all these guys are in play. Let's get rid of the guys we don't want in our lineups at all. No Stoll, no Pringle, no Scott, no Bates, no Turner. Zakia stays, Brown stays, Rodriguez. Jones is back on the practice squad, so fuck him. Gibson, all these guys stay. All right. 20, no stacks, right? Boom. Let's make some lineups, bitches. We're making lineups. We're counting boogie. All right, what do we got? What do we got? Jalen Hurts, captain of 7 lineups, followed by Howell with 2. Everybody else gets 1. Eagles, Brown, Dotson, Robinson, Elliott, McLaurin, Swift, Samuel, Thomas, Goddard, Smith. Let's see who makes the flex cut. Brown, of course, in every lineup. Eagles D in almost every single lineup, 80% of the lineups. Sam Howell in 13, Jalen Hurts 12, Dotson 10, Olamide 8. Olamede's a chaos all of a sudden. Brian Robinson, not very popular. Jake Elliott 4, Gibson 4, Commanders D4. But Florin only 2 fucking lineups? Really? I guess they really think the Eagles are shutting this fucker down. Samuel only 1, Diami only 1, but that's the kind of the surprising one is DeAndre Swift only 1 lineup. Wow. Well, fuck me in the goat ass, huh? 17 players used in 20 lineups. Incredibly interesting. Do this shit. Do this shit right. Do this shit. Do this shit tight. I mean, right? We had some low salaries, right? Behind Yami Brown, right? Yami Brown, plenty of 200s, right? Hertz, take a look at somebody's lineup here. Hertz, Brown, Eagles, Robinson, Dotson, Commanders. Wow, a lot of double defenses. Good. No punts. I don't like fucking punting for the sake of punting. All right, kids. Got ourselves a lineup or two here. What do you say we go load these here lineups? We're counting on Sam Darnold to have one of the greatest fucking games of his life this weekend. That $5,000 in that pool is as good as ours, motherfucker. Let's go get it. 500 first place. Whole lot of money over there for these boys here. All right, we're in. We're in like Flynn. You know what I'll do? Let's bring these lineups up so you can see them. There you go. Hertz, Eagles, Brown, Elliott, Got some good setups there, right there. Hurts, Eagles, Browns, Howell, Samuel, Zacchaeus. Double defense here. A lot of Eagles D in pretty much every one of these lineups. They're pretty much counting on the Eagles D just getting to poor Sam Howell. Sam Howell having to throw his ass off. We got some Robinson in there as the 6 card. Zacchaeus really comes down to that 6 card. Eagles D in the captain spot. Brown, Dotson, Gibson, Howell, Hurts. Really, really, really. Wow. Bobby Wow. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. 20 lineups. The idea is you got to learn how to take down a fucking 20 max. You got to learn how to take down a 150 max if you want to make it to the big tournaments. If you're one of those guys that's like, I just like to play, make a couple of dollars, my hobbyist, go fuck yourself. I like to play big. This way I can scream at my television and all my neighbors think I'm a fucking psychopath. All right, kids. Peace, love, war, all that shit in between. I am Faro King. Wait, sorry. What was I doing here? That'll be the next one we do. It'll be the Dolphins and the Patriots. This is your man, Pharaoh Kane, signing off. Always remember, right here, the new Pharaoh's Lounge Kickstarter.